Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to share my thoughts on Days Gone, a PS4 exclusive game that is a mix of many zombie survival games. Now this video was requested by a lot of people who love playing Dying Light and other zombie survival games. So mainly people wanted to know if this game is worth the money or not. So in this video I'm going to review Days Gone on my PS4. Now, I have spent over 72 hours on this game, and trust me, I was one of those person who was really hyped for this game and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. So, since I got the game this week and now I have completed the game, the main story, and I've discovered every single place in the map, and I've also done everything this game has to offer. So I feel like if I have to give a review, I will have to start from the beginning. So Days Gone starts with the scene showing the beginning of the outbreak, and then soon after that the game takes you to the present day where you're actually chasing someone from your bike. Now during the same scene, you first time see the swarmers, the hordes of freakers from a distance, which in my opinion was amazing. And from that moment itself, I saw this beautiful world in Days Gone, and trust me, it looks amazing. Now, in the present day, it's been almost 2 years since this outbreak has spread and has converted the majority of living creatures to freakers. And that's not it. In the world of Days Gone, some people have completely forgotten their human side and have become what the game calls rippers. And some people have decided to build camps for the survivors, and during my playthrough I came across a lot of these camps. So pretty much when you're done with the game, you actually explore a lot of the camps. Now let's talk about the camp for a second. Now the camps in this game is used for many things. First, you have a merchant who sells you guns, ammos and materials. Second, you can repair your bike and also refuel it anytime. Third, you can sell meat or freaker ears, known as the bounties in the game. And selling freakers ears and meat will give you in-game money. Now, one thing I realized while I was playing Days Gone is that the camps are all different. None of the camps are same. Every camp is different. For example, one camp is good for bike upgrades, and the other one is good for guns and materials, and the third one will be good for something else. So you can always level up your camp by increasing the trust of your camp by either doing missions or clearing the infected from the area, which mainly means you have to go clear the nest. And clearing the nest also unlocks the ability to fast travel from one location to another. So every time you unlock a camp, make sure you go out and do that, because that will be something you will have to. Now, the first 2 hours of the game keeps you busy with the issues regarding Boozer and doesn't really focus much on the main story, which means the story delivery in the first 2 hours of the game is pretty slow. But that doesn't mean it's bad. The first 2 hours of the game shows the transformation of Deacon from gruff man to a caring person, mainly shows his soft side towards his loved ones. During the first 2 hours, you also have a lot of encounter with the Narrow Rangers. It's like no one saw a chopper for almost 2 years, and now seeing them all of a sudden made Deacon question the reason why they're here. So most of the time you will see yourself kind of following these choppers and looking at their activity, following them or recording their voice clips. After the introduction of Narrow Rangers, you literally only do one thing in that mission: listen to the specialist talking, record his conversation and stuff. And that was something a lot of people mentioned as repetitive, but seriously, that was not boring at all. The main reason why, because you were supposed to enter this zone full of Narrow Rangers while being hidden and close to one of the Narrow Ranger. It's like there are so many Narrow Rangers around you and you have to go after one person while not being detected by any one of them. So go to the specialist, make sure you're hidden, no one is seeing you, and sometimes the specialist also moves from his location. So you'll have to go and follow him by making sure that no one actually sees you, which is actually really good. And this actually introduced me to the stealth system of Days Gone, which I definitely enjoyed. Also, as I said before, a lot of reviewers actually said that the game is repetitive. Well, I kind of don't agree with them because it's the demand of the script. The reason why you're doing this mission is to collect more information about the plants. And obviously narrow ranges don't allow anyone really close to them. So it's like the only option you're left with is to go in a stealth mode. And that's what you're doing in this mission. Now, the main reason why I say it's not repetitive is because the game doesn't force you to go for the narrow missions one after the another. It's like the game has variety of missions. So you do a mission for Boozer, you do a mission for Sarah, you do a mission for narrow rangers. So there's enough variety. So I don't really see why it's being called repetitive in that case. Now, before I was told to make this review, a lot of people commented on my channel saying that you should not make a review on this game because IGN says it's repetitive and gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Well, I'll just say screw them because they seriously gave Far Cry 5 an 8.9 and New Dawn 7.5 score, which we all know is repetitive as hell. Nowadays, Ubisoft games are so repetitive, and I don't see why IGN won't complain about Far Cry games being repetitive and actually complaining about Days Gone being repetitive, which doesn't make any sense. As I said before, the game has a variety. One mission for Nero, other for Boozer, another for Camp, other for your wife Sarah. So there is enough variety in the game. So what can I say? Days Gone actually progresses the story in a way that doesn't really feel repetitive. Anyways, let's get back to the game. After the Nero Rangers encounter, we are introduced to the new enemies, mainly different types of freakers, like breakers, screamers, newt, reachers, and swarmers. Now, if that wasn't enough, we also see mutated bears, wolves, ragers, and other kind of animals that you come across in the game. The game actually has enough freakers to keep you alert every time you're driving your bike. Because if you're driving your bike and you're like, well, I'm safe, no one can stop me, well, you're wrong, because there are some freakers who jump on your bike and cause you to fall from your bike while doing damage to you and your bike. The wolves are also really annoying in this game because they can run really fast. If you're driving your bike really fast and think no one can catch you, well, wolves can actually catch you because they run really fast and they will take you down if you don't shoot them. So that's going to be something you will have to look after in this game. Now, alongside the introduction of freakers, you can also unlock new camps and meet new people, some old friends and some new friends from work. Alongside with them, you do some side missions like taking down hordes of freakers or fixing the electricity for the camp, or mainly doing missions for the camp, or getting some stuff for people. So that's something that will happen in the middle of the story. So if you're a survival game fan and love collecting resources and crafting stuff, well, this game has everything you need. You go out looking for stuff that you will later need to either craft a bandage, a Molotov, or any other item that you have a blueprint for. You pick items like cracked beer bottle, rags, and other materials. Now, the only problem I have with the game is that you cannot store a lot of them. Meaning the stack limit for every item in this game is so limited that the game actually forces you to go outside. Imagine if you're able to only carry 15 bottles to create either a Molotov or something else, and rest you cannot carry because there is a stack limit. So once you waste all of those 15 bottles, you'll have to go out and find it again. You cannot even store it in the camp. So if Bend Studio is watching this video, or if somebody wants to say this to Bend Studio, I think there should be a storage or a stash in your camp so you can store all the items in there. It kind of makes sense for a survival game. So look after it, Bend Studio. Now, the devs have made the game so realistic that I actually enjoyed the fact that you will have to refuel your bike after every run. Now, it is a bit annoying at the really beginning because, imagine if you have 100% fuel and you go from one location to another and you don't pay attention to your fuel tank. What happens is you're in the middle of nowhere, left with no fuel, because the fuel burns really fast, so you run out of fuel so quickly if you don't pay attention to it. Now, if that wasn't bad for you, you also break your bike while hitting or jumping over a cliff. And you also need scraps to repair your bike that you can easily get from the cars or camp. But when your bike breaks in the middle of nowhere, as I said before, you kind of are screwed because then you can't even fast travel to your camp. Because in order to fast travel, your bike should be in good condition with enough fuel to fast travel. So it is so messed up, but I kind of like it because it literally scares me and keeps me busy and so alerted that I have to look at my fuel tank every single time. So it just keeps me really alert. Now, one thing I would like to mention is the world around you feels a bit empty during the day because some types of freakers hide inside buildings and caves, but that doesn't mean you don't have enough threats outside. You got regular freakers who jump on your bike, you got screamers who can call more freakers, you got newt on top of every house, and breakers that you rarely see. So daytime will bring you all these enemies alongside some rippers, human enemies, wolves, bears, and in the worst case scenario, a swarm of hordes that shift from one location to another. Trust me, you don't want to come across the hordes of freakers in the early mission because you do see them, but don't go fighting them because then you will get screwed. But hey, this is all what happens during the day. Well, during the night, they all come outside and the whole world is now filled with freakers and every enemy I mentioned above. Now that was a talk about the world of Days Gone. Now let's talk about the voice actors and their voice acting. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, the voice acting of Days Gone feels so natural and well done, and props to the voice actors because the way they did their part in the game, it doesn't feel like a conversation from a game, but actually feels like a regular and natural conversation that we or anyone would do in real life. Now that's something you don't see in a lot of games, so that's amazing. Props to the actor Sam Witwer who gave the voice of Deacon in this game. Now let's wrap up the story part. After spending more than 30 hours in the game, I got so many surprises, goosebumps, and crazy twists in the story, which in overall I could say is a really good experience. At the end, I was kind of left with a crazy message that seriously scared me, even though I know it's a game, dude, but hey, I got goosebumps. Now this one I'm about to show you guys has some spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, well, look at this timestamp, go to this part because then you won't see the spoiler. This is a clip I'm about to play, so get ready. This is a clip that gave me goosebumps.
Well, I can't say I expected to hear from you again. What is it this time?
Believe me or not, I'm glad to see you again. That night at Wizard Island didn't seem to go well.
What can I do for you, O'Brien?
I'm here to warn you.
Warn me about what?
You remember? I told you the infected were evolving?
Right, yeah, a freak's a freak. What the hell do I care?
The strain of the virus, its effects on the human nervous and lymphatic systems is accelerating
at an exponential rate.
They knew all along, of course, that it was happening. The men above me. That's why they were so cautious, so secretive. They're coming. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do to stop them. There's nothing anyone can do.
What the fuck?
Now I can't explain how I feel about this cutscene because that made me believe Days Gone 2 will be coming. Because this is not the end of the story, this is just the beginning. So being a single player PS4 exclusive game, a lot of people have good expectation with the story. Well, after playing and completing everything this game has to offer, I can finally say the story is excellent. After the first 2 hours, the game story is just excellent. I just enjoyed it. And the combat system in this game is just fine. I won't call it amazing, but it's good. I always prefer melee over guns, but the melee in this game breaks so easily, so it just stops me from actually using my melee weapon. I feel like the devs should look after it. But I love it. There's no complaint about the combat system. I enjoyed it. Also, a point I would like to mention, once you upgrade your character to the max and get all the good stuff from the game, you kind of become unstoppable and can easily take down hordes of freakers or any enemy in the game without a problem. So in that case, you kind of left with nothing in the game. You cannot do anything else because you're just so OP. Now, the game is not perfect. There are some issues in the game, but most of the issues are just technical issues that can be easily fixed in the upcoming patches. So I'm going to be mentioning some of the issues this game has, all the technical issues that we are aware of, and I played this game in the 1.04 and 1.05 version, so that's like the latest while I'm recording this video. I know there is a patch coming 1.06 that is supposed to fix these frame drops and lag issue. Well, we'll see about that, and I will definitely put a pinned comment in this video if the update really fixes it. So the first issue the game actually faces is the lag issue. The game actually lags a lot while you are driving your bike. The FPS on PS4 and PS4 Pro both drop to 20 and 15 while driving your bike. And to be honest, it's not good for a game like this. And Bend Studio has promised to release a fix for this, so that's a good thing. Second issue is that the gun shooting in this game is not at all good, and sometimes you can't fire during a roll because your character kind of freezes and the gun doesn't shoot for 1 or 2 seconds, which is a bug and should be fixed in the upcoming patches. Now the next issue this game has is that some of the hordes of freakers fall through the map and gives your character infinite XP and ears to collect, which means infinite money in the game. The next issue the game actually faces is a render issue. So if you're driving your bike really fast, some of the items from a distance won't load. Sometimes the bridge disappears, sometimes a building or a prop or even a car disappears. So that's a problem, and as I said before, Bend Studio is aware of that. Now with the review, I also wanted to talk about who is this game made for and who is this game not for. So first, who is this game not for? If you are one of those persons who love multiplayer and co-op games, and you have not bought a single player game, or you kind of don't enjoy a single player game, well, trust me, you will not like it, because after 72 hours you will be kind of left with nothing in the game. So I don't feel like you should go for this game if you love multiplayer or co-op. Second of all, this game is not for those people who love grinding. So trust me, if you really hate grinding in a game, you will not enjoy this. But if you love grinding, go for it. Now let's talk about who is this game made for. First, if you are those guys who love buying games for the story, well, then you should go for this because the game has really good story. As I mentioned before, it is excellent. Second, people who love zombie games. If you are a zombie fan, well, you have enough creatures in this game to keep you busy, and freakers and zombies are kind of similar, so don't differentiate. That's just same. The devs are just making up some words. So yeah, they are zombies technically, but they just like to call it freakers. Now let's talk about my experience after 72 hours of continuous playing of Days Gone. Well, now that I have played this game and finished everything it has to offer, I feel like there's nothing in the game that will keep me busy. So after 72 hours, I don't really see a good reason to go back in this game. I can always restart the game from the beginning, but still, I will be doing something that I've already done. It will be nothing new. Now that's a problem with every single player games. Once you're done with the story, you're kind of done with the game. Since Days Gone is an open world game, you must think that going out and exploring will take more time. It might finish the game in like a month. You might take a month to discover every single place. No, I did it in 72 hours. I know every single location in the map. I've been there, I've discovered it, destroyed all the nests, and done everything the game has to offer. So 72 hours, if I can do it, anyone can do it, and I don't feel like any other reason why I would go back in the game and do something. So that's just my opinion. Because I'm sure you will agree, a lot of the zombie games are actually multiplayer and co-op, but a single player game is always a short run. So if you're that person who only has a $60 in his pocket and you have a choice between a multiplayer or a single player game, I will always suggest you to go for a multiplayer game if you don't want a short run game, because multiplayer games always have a long run. But I'm not saying single player games are not fun. I've enjoyed so many single player games. Days Gone is one of them. Metro Exodus, God of War, Spider-Man. These games are amazing. Even though they're just single player, I have enjoyed it. But at the same time, when I'm done with the game, I don't go back to the game. That's what I'm trying to say here. And that's what you're gonna face with Days Gone. Also, if you're watching the video to decide if you want to buy Days Gone or not, or is it really worth it, well, after 72 hours of playtime in Days Gone, I can finally say that it's definitely worth it. And my score, if you ask me, because a lot of people like to know the score, well, I would give it a 8.5 out of 10. And now, that was not it. I was supposed to give it a 9, but because the game has some issues like lags and FPS, because, you know, they do mess up with your experience. So imagine playing a game that lags a lot. Obviously, it messes your experience, so that should impact the review as well, because I'm trying to tell you all the things I've experienced. So yes, I have had issues with the frame drops, crashes, and some technical issues with the render stuff. So I know that will be fixed, that will be addressed in the upcoming patch, so we'll update that in the pinned comment. I will pin a comment saying that I'm going to give it a 9 because now the devs have fixed it in this patch and blah blah blah. So make sure you look for that as well. But for now, 8.5 is my score, and later I'll give it a 9. Also, I want to give a message to the developers of Days Gone. I'm going to be honest with you, Days Gone clearly shows the hard work done behind it. It shows that the team has put their heart and soul into making this game. Also, Days Gone shows us what the zombie apocalypse would look like in the modern world, and if someone is going to ask me about this game, I'm definitely going to recommend this to everyone who loves zombie games or survival games, or mainly a game with a good story. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about it. Are you going to buy Days Gone, or are you not going to buy it? Well, let me know in the comment section. If you already own Days Gone, also share your experience in the comment section, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.